Hello Internet, in this video I will show you part 2 of 3, how I made this propane fire table. Part 2 is the lightweight concrete countertop. Keep watching. Welcome to Scott's Garage. Welcome literally to my garage. Whether it's working on a car, a daily driver or a project car, or a project around the yard or a home improvement project, all of my do-it-yourself projects begin here in my garage. Scott's Garage is a place for do-it-yourselfers. Welcome to my channel. The concrete fire table top that contains the burner begins with a form. Now in the past I've used melamine. You can get melamine at Lowe's and at Home Depot. A 4x8 sheet, 3/4 inch thick. It's very heavy stuff to work with. And I've decided not to use melamine, but I'm going to use what is a dry eraser board. So I purchased this at Home Depot for 10 bucks. So you can get a 4x8 sheet of melamine for about 40 bucks. So this is going to be cheaper. This is the exact size that I need for this table, 2 feet by 4 feet. Now again, this is a dry eraser board, chalkboard. So this side is the dry eraser, the white side, and then the back side is the chalkboard. You could use chalk on, and erase. It's very, very sturdy, and it'll work really well. This was about 10 bucks. I bought 2 of them, so I'm keeping this one full-sized, and I already ripped down another one to build the burner part and the sides, and I'll kind of lay that out here so you can see what I did. So the burner is going to be 10 inches, which is right here, by 30 inches. And it'll be 2 inches tall. You build these forms upside down, but you can see how I laid it out here. So again, you have to picture this by just use my table saw to rip these. There we go. And so I'm not going to be using this. By the way, on the table saw, I did use some painter's tape, and so I cut it against that, so it's nice clean edge. There's no problem in cutting this. So I won't be using this piece, but I will be using the rest. And also, what I did is that the burner itself is going to be 2 inches deep. So I cut 2 strips that are exactly 2 inches, and that'll fit around here. I'll show you in a second what I mean. That'll be the board for that. And then that left 3 pieces. These are about 2.5 inches. These will be the sides of the table. So it's going to look as if it's 2.5 inches thick when with the lightweight concrete. I'll explain more in a minute. Here's the barcode for that chalk dry eraser board, as you can see, in case you want to get the exact one. Okay, here I'm using a hot glue gun and using specifically Gorilla hot glue gun glue. It's a little bit stronger than the typical hot glue gun. And I'm just doing the outside edges, the 2.5 inch edges on the main form here, and simply getting a good bead of, again, that Gorilla Glue there. I've overlapped a little bit, so as you can see from the outside of the form, just a little bit, maybe a 1/4 inch or so. And I'll do the same thing when I glue it to the base. Right here, you can see it. I just offset it a little bit so that there's room to apply a nice bead of the Gorilla Glue. Okay, and here I'm doing the exact same thing for the 3 inch by 30 inch burner section. Here I'm drilling a hole. This will be for the propane. Okay, obviously the form looks a little bit different from what you just saw. I've caulked it in using silicone caulking. I have a separate video on how to properly caulk a form. You can see the card here above for that video. I also put some drain tubes in. This is simply 3/4 inch PVC. I used the hot glue gun to do that, and the Gorilla Glue hot glue gun. So it's there, and then here, this will be the inlet for the propane and the H burner. And I'll be using lightweight concrete that I spray into the form, and I'll simply spray around here, and it'll then create the holes for these purposes. One of the cool things about concrete work, whether it's tabletops or concrete countertops, is that you can put some things that are sentimental value to you. So these are just rocks, but they come from my home state. A recent trip I made with my 86-year-old father, and we picked up these exact stones on the banks of the Missouri River outside of East Helena, Montana. So I'm going to incorporate them into this project. Okay, I've mentioned before that I'm using lightweight concrete for this project, and specifically Buddy Rhodes concrete products. This is their GFRC blended mix. GFRC, I believe it stands for glass fiber reinforced concrete. It's a 50-pound bag. I bought this at a local vendor called Reynolds Materials. I give a shout out to them. But I'll put a link in the description below. You can order this on Amazon as well. I'll also be using my concrete mixer, hand concrete mixer. This is one sold by Harbor Freight. Likewise, see the link in the description below. I'll be using this 3-liter hopper spray gun. See the link in the description below. I have a complete review of this. It's done an excellent job for the products I have used. I'm using the smallest nozzle, the 4mm. We'll be mixing this using the Buddy Rhodes suggested formula. So I've pre-mixed 8.5 pounds of chilled water. I'll be using water reducer. This is the water reducer 420, and it's 25 milliliters, which is the same as 25 grams. And I have 1.5 pounds of the glass fiber that I'll be eventually mixing in. Okay, here adding the chilled water and then the initial water reducer, mixing it together. Then you add the dry mix, mix it. It will liquefy, especially with that water reducer. It's amazing stuff. Add more. I'm going to add some more water reducer. You want it to be like a milkshake consistency. Here I'm scraping the sides down because just there's some dry mix on the sides. Want to make sure it's all evenly mixed. Okay, I'm loading up the hopper here. Now I'm spraying it in. This is time lapse, but it's sprayed in beautifully. I would say I sprayed about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. And what I'm doing here then, you can see about 2/3 of the mix is there. So I sprayed about 1/3 of it. 2/3 is left. And I mixed now the glass fiber in. So the glass fiber part, you can't spray that, the initial spray. It would look bad if you did. But this is what gives it strength. So I'm mixing in, again, the glass fiber. And then I'll be using my hands and taking the rest of the mix then and adding it on top of what I sprayed in. Now what's sprayed in is not set up yet. It's set up a little bit, but it's still very usable. And so what I'll do here is I use my hand and just spread it around, spreading the fibers. I'd say here it's at least a 1/2 inch thick, the place I'm putting it in, which is going to be everything here. And just patted it in and smooth it out. The fibers intersect with each other. You just keep filling it in the entire form, looking for any places that I missed, and just working it. It's kind of like bread dough in a way, or pizza dough, and very easy to work with. The first time I've ever used the Buddy Rhodes mix like this, and it worked really well. It also helps a lot as far as the overall weight. My guess is that this would be probably 250, 300 pounds if it were solid concrete, but with the lightweight concrete here, it'll weigh probably about 65 pounds in the end. Just mix it again. Altogether, really enjoyed this. I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out, but you can be judge of that. Leave a comment below after you see it come out of the mold. Drive for 24 hours. This is the next day. I was very excited if it was going to turn out or not. And I was able to pry these off really easy. It didn't, stick to them. I knew that would be the case. So revealing it, Now, the burner part, the bottom part, that did take a little bit of work. It's not shown in the video, but I got the sides of that off of there. And you can see the river rocks that I added. You know, there's some product covering it, but I'll be grinding that down and revealing those rocks. So here I am, first attempt at it. I used a high-speed grinder. It's in a diamond pad. See the link in the description below. Both wet and dry pad. Created a lot of dust though in my garage. I decided the next day to put some old rain gear I had on. I had a hose, and you can see here in a second. But was able to really to get it to come down and reveal the river stone quite effectively. I was very pleased overall. And here I'm sanding it. This would be 100 grit and then up to, I think, 400 grit sanding it. And I'm preparing it for sealer. And the sealer that I chose is Concrete Expressions LTD. It's meant for concrete countertops. It's FDA approved. See the link in the description below. Hey, this ends part 2 of 3 of this project. Got any value from this part of the video, please hit like. It costs you nothing, but it's a great value to me. Part 3, please watch part 3, where I'll be mating the top, the burner part, to the cabinet and hooking up all the piping for the propane. See you in the next video.
I see a sky.